set up to the ball, good fundamental posture for
The
your
only
height.
thing that I would like to do, as I look at the picture, is not have my chin tucked down as much and have, because this line I like, but it kind of curls at the end, and in a perfect world, I think I'd rather have my head back a little bit on that. But
Well, if you look at what really is real for people, usually we
It's
got
that.
somewhere around 15 degrees in there. So
okay.
you're in better shape than you think.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of people that are digging in there
Yeah.
are sometimes it's vision.
Okay.
They get the bifocal stuff.
and
they got to look out of the top
okay.
lens.
Okay.
So
right.
I would not put that as
Don't
a
worry about
weakness.
that. Okay.
So we're pretty good here. So when you get into your takeaway, tell me what goes on.
All right, I'm thinking.
Not much thinking, or
I'm just
other than
thinking
slow
and kind of more trying to get the club back straight so that I wind up at that ground parallel there with the club pointing up there, so it's not too far behind me or outside that I'm going to get in trouble.
So that's a pretty good spot right there. It comes a little bit underneath the plane, but
Just
I
a
don't
bit, yeah.
don't care about that. I'm a big believer that any sins of the backswing can be forgiven with the forward swing.
I totally agree, because the ball doesn't know what the hell you're doing up there.
That's right. So this is just kind of shows you where you're at as far as now. In your mind, is that
In my mind, my
flat
hands,
or is that upright or is it what is
all right. In my mind, my hands aren't
Is
as
that-
high as I would like them to be, and that's still a little upright.
Well, this is not upright. This would
Right,
we
that's-
call that flatter.
Okay.
Now what you're talking about is the club getting
Yes,
steep
yes.
on the way down.
Yes. And I still see that little bit of the cast up there as well to get that angle there, a little bit. And I would have expected that to be bisecting my bicep, rather than up on my shoulder blade, but okay.
So now you kind of make up for it a little bit down
right,
here because
yeah.
now when we look at the front view of this swing, I like your grip. I don't like your setup for the most part. Well, if you look at that, it's not a bad spot right there. Now, you want to be. Everyone wants something, right? But you might say, well, that could be more like here, couldn't it, Dan? In terms of getting more of an arc for speed and all that. But it could. But
don't lose sleep over it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So here's where we kind of can measure the cast if there is one, because it's pretty common in people, but I don't know that. We'll see here. I don't see anything there yet.
All right. So still a decent bit of lag there between the angle. Lost a little bit there.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're not going to get. Now the tour guys are still back here.
Right, and the club
That's
is
why they're
back up there. Sergio
why
and
they're-
those guys. That's why
they're
on
tour. So now we got a little throw there. Okay. So you can kind of see how the shaft reacts to that too.
Yep.
I wouldn't call that a terrible impact. Now, when you got clubs that are 2 inches long, you can't really get them stiff enough. So you're gonna have a little wobble in that shaft because of that length. But it's not a bad impact. Now let's just see.
The head steam is pretty level there.
Yeah, it's not a bad golf swing. Not a bad golf swing. What the result, the athletic look of your swing, we don't see anything that is going to require major surgery. But the most important moment of golf is that split second of impact.
Right.
So what we got to do is just kind of go through all the things that influence what I say. For the most part, are misses.
Okay.
You got a high percentage of misses. Be it, when it's on the ground, obviously the margin for error picks up.
Right.
when it's on a tee, it's kind of a little miss on the club face, toe, and heel. When it's down there, you're down here a lot.
Correct.
Okay. So if we look at factors there as we kind of draw up the plan, you're not that. The club gets kind of thrown a little bit. Yeah. I'd like to get you. Another thing we got to look at for thin is how much the posture changes. So that's where you are at impact, and that's where you are to start.
Okay.
So this gets into really dangerous territory when the first go around when I do video, I try to say, all right, this isn't really an analysis or anything we're going to change yet, but here's what we see.
Fact, right.
Yeah, we're going to see you just come up and out just a little bit with your height. So that's just enough, and you're not going to be able to grow your arms long enough to make up for that.
That's stopped, okay. That's done.
So that's not such a untypical amateur move, because what happens is, the spine angle changes a little bit. And we can't really stay down there like we could when we were in our 20s. You know why? Because our body isn't quite the same.
Right.
We got all that going for us, right?
Yep.
So I think that requires an adjustment of an approach rather than trying to do that.
Understood.
Because I don't think I can put you enough in the fitness center I'm not a big fan of being fit.
Sure.
Golf.
Sure.
Who isn't?
Right. Why not?
But the reality is there's very few that are really interested in doing that. But your body does what it does because of its flexibility and its strength, and it's like, this is what I do.
That's correct. This is it. Right.
And so we got to kind of look at some things here. Get that club a little steeper.
Steeper
at impact.
At impact. Yes.
Steeper at impact.
Okay.
So that's really what we look at here now from this view. And again, I'm just kind of game planning out loud here.
No, that's fine. I'm with you.
No specifics yet, but here's your kind of the big picture of your swing here. There's your swing circle. There's the bottom. So in the perfect world, we're going to want that bottom to have a forward shift to it. So I'm going to move you about 4 inches here. And that's how we want the club to bottom out.
Correct.
Coming through. Okay, so now it becomes a function of what the motor does here. Is there enough going on here, laterally speaking, to get that bottom of the club here? So let's look at the lateral part, because this is one of the things you feel is you don't necessarily get to your left side as consistently as you should. Now I'm going to say you're in your left side
there
pretty sufficiently.
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Because you can see how straight this leg is.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. We'll see a little bit more there, maybe a little more elevation there with that heel, so we might get you up on that toe a little quicker.
Yep.
But we clearly have a throw here. Okay. So when we have a throw there, we have a bottoming out behind the ball. So the low point is behind the ball instead of in front.
That's correct.
So,
and if I do a last minute correction, it's at the ball. Right.
Yeah, and we intuitively release a golf club based on our DNA.
Hit the ball.
The thing is happening so damn fast.
Right.
For me to say, hey, Don, just hold on to it a little bit longer and then release it late, that's laughable. Okay. So what we're getting into here really is probably some of the hardest things that there is to learn and teach, and that is to not throw the club quite as early. But you're over here sufficiently to get a ground
The
hit
hips
here.
are open enough at that point.
Yeah.
I'm seeing my belt buckle.
Yeah,
and
athletically-
that's not the problem, right?
Athletically, you're good enough there.
Right.
So, yeah, we could be a little bit more rotated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first thing I had to really see. 'Cause,
Yep.
we never really saw a divot from the ball.
Mhm.
And I don't think it's actually a requirement, truthfully.
Understood.
But, you can just see how you got a little release there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's based on what the instincts are back here. So my goal going forward with you, I love how your lower body is there.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff I like here.
Okay. And the interesting thing for me is historically, I was losing it up here, and now I just moved it down the clock, and I'm losing it there. So it's an improvement of shifting it closer to the ground, but still.
We're just not
Right.
quite deep enough down
Correct.
there. That's
Correct.
just no better way to say
Yep,
it. And then the
understood.
club's slightly moving up into the ball.
Right.
And a little bit of that, but I
Mhm.
think we can get away with that more than
Right.
that. So if we took our first goal
Yep.
and say, all right, let's try to dive into that impact a
Mhm.
little bit, okay? So now it's just going to be kind of drill related stuff. I'm going
Yep.
to give you some
Mhm.
drills.
That'd be great.
So, now we're dealing with the ground here now.
Mhm.
This is just kind of grip it and rip it.
You see right there, my hands in my mind are too low. I'd rather have my hands up a little higher. Is that something I should worry about or not? No, don't worry about it. Good. Okay.
It is what it is. I'm more worried about that.
From there,
Yeah, see? Now the
That-
speed's building
right.
because we got a driver
Correct.
mentally.
Yeah.
Length,
Yeah.
club speed,
Right.
the motor's picking up,
Mm-hmm.
right? So everything you're doing there is now picking up
Right.
sooner.
Right.
So now you're throwing that earlier than
Mhm.
the irons.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just intuitive.
Mhm.
And you're not really, the faster you're swinging, the less you're moving here. You're not over there as much as you were with a slower swing. So there you are. You're back on your right leg,
Yeah.
just like you feel it. With the speed,
Right.
not so much with the iron.
Yeah. Right.
That's
Right.
not uncommon because many times what we do,
See, you can still, if there were pressure sensors under my feet, you could feel all that pressure under that right
yeah,
foot.
and we're seeing
And
that
that's right.
that back foot spin,
Yep.
which means you still got weight there
Yep.
rather than release.
And just easily go up on the toe.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So the reason for the toe hits for the driver then, that's not a very good angle, camera angle, Dan. You can do better than that. That's better. So the good thing about the driver is we don't have to worry about the ground. The bad thing about the driver is there's more speed
Right.
and it exposes us a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Again, okay there. It's not too bad.
So here's, you can just see your first move
Yeah,
here.
it's just
where-
a little squirrely up there, isn't it?
Well, what happens is the first thing it moves is the golf club up in the air, so you start it unhinged right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You haven't even moved your body yet. So that's that intuitive motor of
Right.
yours
Right.
that says, all right,
I'm done with this. Time to hit the ball. Right.
and Dan's not going to do much about that.
Yeah.
He's going to try to fool you when
Okay.
you're not doing it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's not going to be, hey, Don, just don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we
It'd
got
be
that
the best
fixed.
lesson
Right,
I ever
yeah,
gave,
yeah,
right?
right,
It's
right,
not going to
right.
happen.
Don't worry.
So we're not going to change our instincts that much, but we need to know about it. Now it's going to start seeing, now we're getting outside the ball a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then we're going to drag it in because we're going to hit it on the toe. That looks like it's going to be a heel hit to me because it's going outside.
that way. Right.
Because the club's outside the ball a little bit already,
Correct.
way
Correct.
back here.
Correct.
Well, what's going to happen is you're going to drag that a little bit more in. Actually, you got that more in the
Yeah,
heel
that
there, didn't
one.
you?
Yeah. But that was
Most of them are toes.
Most of them are toes. Correct.
Now, just so you know here too, I'll show you another way to hit it on the toe. Just want to show you how talented you really are.
I have all these shots in my repertoire.
There's other ways to hit the toe, and what's going to happen is you're going to see the shaft get more vertical here
Okay.
at impact, and your arms are going to come up a little bit more. That's going to drag the club in. This is the old common one here. There you are. See how steep you are?
Steep now.
Now
I'm out like this.
Yeah.
Right?
So
rather my hands hanging down, and I lost the spine angle as well.
Yeah, see now, if you go here, again, this is a common way to hit on the toe. Your arms are down here, and your shaft's down here. Well, at impact, guess what?
Arms are up.
Shaft's vertical.
Right.
That'll make you hit it on the toe, too.
Yep.
Okay. So, guess what? We're not going to worry too much about that either. But, just give you some brief explanations of why things are happening.
Yep.
So, I'd like you to not be standing flat-footed so much. I don't see that quite as much with the slower swing irons. I see a little. What happens is we tend to get a little better release. You're got a little bit more movement there off that back foot. See when it first starts going. There, you see that's gonna wait longer to get off the ground here.
Yeah, I mean you can see the club coming out behind me before it comes off. Yeah.
Right. What we're going to do about all that is put it in our compartmentalize it a little bit and say, all right, let's talk about your impact.
Right. Okay.
And then move back from there.
Terrific.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So we got two things going on. We got. I'd like to see a little bit more on your left side with the driver, and I'd like to teach you a little bit more about some steeper concepts for hitting an iron.
Okay.
And then let me show you a couple drills.
Perfect.
It's just something for you to work on until we get together.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're kind of buzzing in and buzzing out again.
Yeah, that's right. But I'll have access, obviously, to the range here, and I live on a course at home.
Yep.